For those of you that have been following the channel, you've heard the story of in January 2018, while the boys and I were playing 40K, Tracy saw that model right there, Tilly, she called her, and said, if I could play her, I'd play this game. That led to the Seraphim army, which has led to a 3-year addiction that has become this monstrosity of models. You see some empty shelves over there. It was time to do spring cleaning and clean out the shelves and dust them, right, Tracy?
Yep, it was dusting.
So I thought it was a perfect time to update our parade of models. The last time we posted this was in December of 2019.
Okay.
And what is new since then? Just over a year. Our Nurgle army. Most of this was not painted in December 2019 when we filmed our first parade of armies. We're getting more Plague Bearers because the new War Scroll Battalion, very excited about. And we've got in boxes a lot more Plague Drones and all
yes, which I always love those
models. Those models. We've got a lot more.
Like
Like everybody else who's got a collection like this, we've got boxes and boxes of stuff, but it's just what you can get out and actually get painted. Our Tzeentch army. I've actually got a Karos the Fate Weaver and another Lord of Change in boxes. And lots of mortals. We've got Carrick Acolytes and everything else, but
this was the build at the time.
This was the build at the time, and it still is a very good change host build. It's for our Tzeentch. My original Khorne, not much has changed since that December video. This is what I played multiple tournaments with.
They've been really neglected
with our
recently.
Khorne army, and they've been sitting on the shelf for a long, long
a new
time.
book due, right?
Yes, they're due. That previous Parade of Armies video, this Skaven army was completely primed in white and much smaller. I don't think we had any Storm Fiends back then.
Right.
And the Endless Spells. But you say, what about this army? You did a great paint job with this.
Thank you. This was actually my very favorite army to paint, and I've painted a lot of armies. And it just has so much personality. Every model is cool. Every model.
We're going to try to get that on the tabletop. Our son Vince is interested in running those. George's Fireslayer army hasn't changed much since the last video.
But it's going to.
It's going to. We got 2 gun haulers to add into this to give them a little bit of some pop from distance. Brand new army, our Idoneth Deepkin army. I have not finished painting the other part of this boat yet. I have it in my office right now, but we'll have 2 boats. I know my opponents don't like that, but there are 2 boats that you can bring. And lots of eels. I have 50 thralls that I have made and primed to paint to throw into this army because the thrall build's pretty good, and an Eidolon. Then Tracy's Bedazzled Daughters. We've featured these on several videos. You have added in what are those, incantations?
Yep, and an endless spell.
And an endless spell.
Yep.
But
and a few snakes.
And some snake ladies.
Yeah, with the new
build.
Broken Realms and then new DOK book, the snakes became a lot more fun to play.
When we filmed this before, we had hardly any painted Stormcast. But our son Vince does like this long strike crossbow build. And like everybody, we have boxes and bins of unpainted Stormcast because it's the biggest book with the fewest models anybody ever actually plays.
Right.
But we do hope to expand that in the future. You did a great job on this Stardrake.
Yes, but I did the Stardrake to be in my city's army, not necessarily to be in the Stormcast army.
Including all these other... What are these again?
Those are Sisters of the Watch.
And Sisters of the Thorn?
Sisters of the Thorn,
And then your...
We got Eternal Guard in here, and then we actually have some Dreadblades, too, that'll come out. I need some more of them, but yeah.
Yeah, and we've got quite a few more. They're just not been painted yet.
Right.
And the monsters and the dragon. I know you want to get the sorceress up on top of her.
Yeah.
My very large Sylvaneth army that I've played a lot. But I added a lot of Kurnoths in, a second Durthu, and Drycha, and of course, Alarielle. That's brand new. Just want to highlight Tracy's amazing Balewind Vortex with that hero up there. We come down here. And we will look at our Legions of Nagash and Night Haunt kind of mixed together. A lot of Skellies, our Night Haunt, Archon. And if you watch the video from December 2019, Nagash is in the exact same painting condition a year and a half later.
Yeah.
Just I've not worked on him anymore.
One day.
Seraphim Army. Tracy's original army just before Daughters of Cain, but we did add a lot of Stegodons in.
Yeah, that new book came out, and I wanted that battalion so bad with all those Stegodons.
Tilly's got a sister.
Yes, yep.
Or Gloomspite Gitz army, which you love. They just need some love from GW. The spiders are fantastic. Your squigs look tremendous. You love your trolls.
I do.
They just aren't as competitive as you'd like for them to be, but you would say one of your most fun armies?
They are fun. Very fun to play.
Ironjaws are about the same as they were, or Orc, when we filmed last time.
I would still like to do Bone Splitters.
We should add some Bone Splitters and add that in. Some endless spells that we have. I am currently working on a Slaves to Darkness army. This is as far as I've gotten in painting it, so that will be some time. Tracy's working on an OBR army. For George, and that's all we have painted yet. And then your number one army you've competed with the most.
Yes, absolutely.
Is the Flesh Eater's Court, which hardly any of this was painted when we filmed last time.
I think when we first got it, we had like 3 of those flayers, and now we have 21 of them.
Of the crit flayers, because that's always an interesting build. Well, going back the other way, we have done a lot of work in just over 3 years. And that's also including, there's my son's Necron army and the AdMech and all the 40K stuff sitting behind us. So we love this game, and we hope you guys love it too, and thank you for watching.